Welcome to today's SeafoodNews.com video, sponsored by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute.
Good morning. It's Friday, November 1st. We want to talk some more about the Canadian-European Free Trade Agreement, which was signed in principle. There's been a lot of opposition to this agreement in Newfoundland because part of the agreement requires the province give up its rules that fish caught in Newfoundland have to be processed there. The government of Canada plus the provincial government in Newfoundland are making $400 million of transition assistance available to help rural communities in Newfoundland adjust to this change. I've been actually a big supporter of this agreement because I think it's going to increase the overall value of Newfoundland fisheries substantially. I don't think the people who are arguing that the agreement is going to damage the province have much of a leg to stand on. The fact of the matter is that the Newfoundland processing industry has to change. The labor is not there. The idea that you can do a high quality product based on a few weeks of seasonal work and have the plant idle the rest of the year is increasingly untenable. The idea of making money in fisheries these days depends on getting a higher value for your fish. And partly that means opening up to the world demand for species like crab, where actually the ex-vessel value might rise considerably. But it also means that the small processing plants and the new businesses and the niche processors have to focus on high value items and high value processing, not just being a small player in a river of commodity product. Because being a small player in this commodity river is never going to work. I know people might think I harp too much on Alaska, but Alaska is a good model because something works there. And one of the things that strikes me about Alaska is, in addition to having, 4 or 5 major processors that handle the large volume of seafood, you have a whole range of smaller plants and smaller processors who produce specialty products. There are a number of small companies in Alaska that produce, let's say, high-value smoked salmon. And these guys are surviving and thriving in a situation where there's a large seafood industry surrounding them. I think when you think about what Newfoundland will be in 20 years, you really got to think of having a high-value fishery. And the way you make money with a high-value fishery and local processing is you compete at the highest end of the market. That's going to need new ideas, new innovations, and new approaches in Newfoundland. I thought it was a very positive sign that both Earl McCurdy of the FFAW and Derek Butler from the Association of Seafood Producers in Newfoundland fully support this trade deal because they see it's going to bring more value to the fishery overall. And I think that higher value is what's going to really provide the economic benefits of this trade deal. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.
Today's SeafoodNews.com video was brought to you by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute. Alaska has been protecting wild and sustainable seafood for generations and adheres to the most recognized and internationally accepted set of guidelines written by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. For recipes and additional information, visit wildalaskaflavor.com.